Good morning, March 15th, 2020. Spring's a week away, although we got an inch of snow on the ground here this morning in Ohio. So, today I want to talk about the Black Plague, known as the bubonic plague, that swept Europe in the mid-1300s. And I talk about the plague all the time in class. I lecture about the plague in humanities class as well as philosophy class, or I would in any class I taught. People need to be made aware of history, as the Spanish-American philosopher tells us. George Santayana. Those who do not know and remember history are destined to repeat it. And great words. So we need to understand the plagues before us, or we won't understand something like coronavirus or Coronavirus19 in this case. And it appears that some people are pointing towards conspiracies that the Coronavirus19 was created or accidentally created during the Obama administration, and there's something dastardly here with the Chinese. I believe it also was said to go as far as the U.S. mail went uninspected under Obama for 8 years. Trump closed that loophole finally. Not that Trump's God, but in this case, he did the right thing. And during those 8 years is when the fentanyl and the carfentanil streamed into the United States from China. So there is something there about conspiracy. But nonetheless, the plague in Europe, it was met with fear and anger, and people were freaking out. And there were really religious people at that time who were very dogmatic and fundamentalist. And right away, when people started getting sick from the plague, the first thing that happened in humanity in 1347 was that the religious people thought that the sick people had been possessed by demons and the devil. So in the early years, and we're thinking the plague goes on for 5 years almost and then lasts longer, it's still around today. There are over 2,000 cases a year of the plague. Now, every year, it's treated with erythromycin, tetracycline, these things, but the plague still exists. So in the beginning, the people were so in the wives' tales and all the world of legend, that they just would nail the people in their homes. When they would go in there, they would just nail them in their home and burn their home down with them in it. Now, this went on for quite a while. That victims struck by the plague were not only forced to suffer and die, they were to be burned alive in their houses with their families oftentimes. It was a brutal time. The plague infects your body, it infects your lymph nodes, and your body basically becomes full of seeping pustules, if you will. It's a horrible death. Under your arms, everywhere there's lymph nodes, it gets infected. Thankfully, Michel Nostradamus, many people know Nostradamus. I got to say something about him someday. Writing the quatrains in secret. Nostradamus, very interesting. An alchemist physician at the time of the plague, knew that there was vitamin C in rose hips, that they would help as a preventative, and he created rose hips pills with other herbs and vitamins, minerals in there, and to prevent the plague. But the truth is, the lack of sanitation in Europe is what caused the problem. And that's what I want to say. Just like with Coronavirus19, if you stay to yourself and keep your environment clean, you'll be fine. And the reality is lack of sanitation. So then they finally figure out that no, maybe the plagues come in with the rats when they come in on the ships from foreign ports. So they start getting smarter. They're starting to see, oh, well, it's not, bad, good people are dying, not just the evil ones we burned alive. And so it comes down to it that there's like, no, it's not even the rats. They're part of it, though. It's the fleas on the rats. The fleas on the rats getting transported from port to port were carrying the Black Plague. Over 150 million people died from 1347 to 1351. It took over 200 years for the population of Europe to recover. Every now and then there is a purge, and only the smartest, healthiest ones will survive. This is a time to remember Nietzsche's will to power, right? The world is a will to power and nothing more. Yeah, that's true, but you can't do it by brute force. If you're a fool, it'll never work out. So we must still meet life, right, with love, charity, logic first. Take care of our sanitation issues. And realize the past while we're in the today and the future. I always say, time's an illusion created by us to keep us on time. But there's really no clock. Who would want to exist in time? The world is really timeless. Find somebody you love and go away, or go fishing or something, and you'll find out time doesn't matter. And the reality is, as we go through, you start to see what counts, and it's well-being of mind, body, soul, spirit. And that's what it takes to survive logically in this world. Hatred's foolish, we know. And at a time like this, when things are changing, and we really can't count on anything, we got to be open-minded and smart and take care of ourselves and see what's going on. The plague didn't end in a minute. It's still going on. Coronavirus19 ain't over yet. It's still going on. Over 60 countries have infected people. And, Italy, Iran, China, thousands are dead. So, it's reality. And everyone's trying to cover up their own mess too, so to speak. So it's hard to believe anything coming out of China or Iran. And the reality becomes that, as I always say, you got to live to do it another day. Peace out, y'all. Have a good Sunday.